In the Middle Ages, simply existing was super dangerous. If it wasn't the plague that got you, it was tuberculosis, smallpox, or leprosy. Accidentally cut your toe? Sorry, no penicillin for you, buddy. Your ticket's punched. But did you know that people died from dancing? Today we're going to examine the facts, the fictions, and all the theories about the dancing plague of 1518 that killed as many as 400 people. Hey folks, thanks for watching. If you're into weird, dark, and strange stories, please like and subscribe. All feedback is appreciated in the comments while I work to make this viewing experience better as I go. Let's get weird. On a summer morning in July 1518, a German housewife named Frau Trophia stepped out of her home into the narrow streets of Strasbourg, France. Strasbourg is a border town between Germany and France, hence the use of both Burg and Frau here. When she stepped out into that narrow street, she was suddenly compelled to begin to dance. Right there, right then, in front of her house. There was no music playing, there was no place here that you would normally start to dance, but she couldn't help herself. She did this all day, by the end of which her feet were completely bloody and covered in sores. She finally stops, walks into her house, and goes to bed. But she tosses and turns all night, unable to fall asleep. Her body has a need, and it needs
more cowbell.
No, it needs more dancing. So she rises up the next morning, and she marches back out in front of her house and gets back to work. And regardless of the agonizing pain in her feet, she dances again all day. And this time, she never stops. Now, if that wasn't weird enough, she's only the beginning. Soon, 400 people will join her. This one woman kicks off a full-on dance mania that spreads like the plague itself. It became such an ordeal that the city council got together for an emergency meeting to discuss how to handle this seemingly unprecedented public crisis. And I know what you're imagining. 400 people cutting loose, having a good time, hooting and hollering, smiles and high fives. No. This is Strasbourg, baby. Not that stupid footloose town. That is not what's going down here. Every single dancer appear to be doing this under duress. Extreme agony all over their faces as they moan and they cry out loud and beg for mercy while unable to stop dancing. This goes on for weeks. It gets to the point where 15 people were dying per day, dancing till they dropped dead. Those still alive dancing around the corpses as if no amount of odor or horror could make these people stop. Desperate, the city council consults with the local doctors, who aren't the highly educated, risk-averse, careful technicians that today's doctors are. No. These medieval doctors, they shoot from the hip. The first thing they did was check their star charts and rule out any astrological causes. As you do. I guess Mercury wasn't in vaporwave at the time. Then they ruled out supernatural causes. I can only assume by throwing a witch or two in the lake. What they eventually determined was the cause of this mass malady was hot blood. That's right. A disease that only foreigners can get. Before you go thinking this is some made-up medieval disease, fear not. Everyone in those days totally knows what hot blood is. And they also know that it's caused by imbalances of the humors. Humors in this era was the phrase they used to refer to all bodily fluids. Blood, bile, phlegm, whatever you got. The stars and other celestial objects push and pull on these fluids, just like the moon on the tides, and it changes our minds. This added to the summer heat, sprinkle in a little starvation, and bam! Clearly, these people's blood is boiling in their brains, making them go mad. But have no fear, we have a tried and true remedy for this. We just gotta do a little of the old bloodletting. Unfortunately, since no one would willingly stop dancing, this proved difficult. But the doctors were not deterred. They straightened their monocles and they came up with a plan B. More dancing. That's right. Reverse psychology, baby. Yeah, this will wear them down and make them stop. If agonizing pain won't stop them, more agonizing pain will? Yeah. They weren't completely insensitive, though. They did think to bring in some musicians at least. I can only assume to make it less creepy. However, this backfired and revved everybody up even more. At their wits' end, the police do the only sensible thing left to do. They conclude that the city is cursed. And the only way to fix this is to crack down on sinning. You gotta get rid of the gamblers, you gotta get rid of the prostitutes, And they even outlaw music and dance entirely, including the music they literally just added to this whole situation. So now, dancing is illegal, and these poor people are racking up fines on top of losing their minds. I mean, these doctors are understandably perplexed. I mean, this has never happened before. Oh, wait! It totally has. On Christmas Eve in the year 1021, 18 people gathered outside a church in a German town called Coburg and began to dance. And this caused quite the ruckus and interrupted a priest who was in the middle of his sermon. And understandably upset at these dirty hippies, he runs outside and he gives them what for? By cursing them to dance for another year. Solid. And you know what? They freaking did. Not until a year later did they regain control of their limbs, and then finally collapsed and died. Then in the year 1247 in Erfurt, Germany, 200 people danced on a bridge until it collapsed, drowning all of them. The year is 1374 in a German town called Aachen. People spontaneously started dancing in crowds of wild delirium. It wasn't until holy water and holy incantations were brought in that this clearly satanic business clear up. And finally, in 1994, Forrest Gump ran for 3 months, and thousands joined him and died. So sad. But seriously, we're seeing a theme here, right? It's all Germany and France. What's up with that? By 1374, this craze of involuntary dancing is recorded to have spread all throughout Germany and France. Anyway, back to 1518. So after outlawing all the fun things didn't work, they had one more ace up their sleeve that was sure to fix this situation once and for all. Saint Vitus. This guy's origin story makes Batman look like, I don't know, Robin. He was martyred as a small child in the year 303 on the orders of Emperor Diocletian and Maximilian. And by martyred, I mean tossed into a boiling cauldron of lead and tar, and then tossed into the mouth of a lion, obviously. But before you go start feeling bad for the kid, fear not, as he came out of that boiling cauldron of tar and lead completely unharmed. And when he was tossed into that mouth of the lion licked him clean. Aww. This event basically punched his sainthood card, and he now never has to wait in line at the buffet or pay for parking ever again. So here's the thing. Everyone, and I mean everyone, in these little German French towns deeply believe that if you sinned, Saint Vitus, who's the patron saint of epileptics and dancers, by the way, would curse you to dance until you repented. Everyone believed this, like deeply. So it all makes sense when the police, the council, and the townfolk instigate their next and final plan: to corral all the dancers onto big wagons and cart them up a hill to a shrine of Saint Vitus. A priest gave a mass, they handed out shoes soaked in holy water, and you know what? It worked. For those that survived till then, at least. In the end, possibly up to 400 people had danced till they died. Makes you wonder, though, why didn't they do that in the first place? Now, all modern historians agree those who danced did so involuntarily. They were literally writhing in pain the whole time. So, what could have made them do that? One theory is that they ingested ergot, which is a mold that can grow on stalks of rye, which was a common food at the time, and it can cause hallucinations, spasms, and tremors. Well, while it is true that mass contaminations like this occurred regularly at the time, it's highly unlikely that many people would have reacted to its effects the exact same way. Not to mention this preternatural stamina they exhibited. Historian John Waller actually debunked the ergot hypothesis in his book on the dancing plague called A Time to Dance, A Time to Die. Here's a quote. Yes, ergot can cause convulsions and hallucinations, but it also restricts blood flow to the extremities. Someone poisoned by it simply could not dance for several days in a row. End quote. So there you go. It ain't the shrooms. Another theory was epilepsy, but the dancing looked far too coordinated and not seizure-like. Plus, epilepsy is not contagious, so that wouldn't explain the large crowd and how it spread so quickly. Some believe there may be a secret dance cult behind all this, but no one was having any fun here. It was pure agony, so that doesn't seem to work. Now, I can't go without saying here that Strasbourg, and in fact, these exact areas of Germany and France, had just gone through multiple famines in recent years. So, needless to say, life sucked in these towns at the time. And the year right before this all goes down is the worst year of them all. literally being called the bad year when all years are bad. So extreme levels of psychological stress and malnutrition most certainly increase the likelihood of these individuals succumbing to a detached trance-like state. You sprinkle in some religious fervor on that and you got a powerful situation. You see, all people in this area at the time shared a dread of getting this affliction. Almost everyone believed that wrathful spirits roamed the countryside, and people at the time legitimately feared being possessed by these spirits and demons. Like, this is all that's on their starving minds, you know? They had such strong superstitions in general, but especially concerning losing control of your own body and mind. They believed they were possessed so strongly that they would not stop, which is possibly why those few who did recover stopped once taken to the shrine of the church. It allowed their mind to believe this curse was gone. To further prove this, at least to me, is that only where there was a pre-existing belief that it was even possible to be consumed by a dancing plague does it even happen. So the whole thing begins in the mind, takes root in psychological distress, finds fuel in ironclad superstition, and Bob's your breakdancing uncle. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, stay weird.